Hello and welcome everybody. So I'm starting to do kind of like a regular stretching after work. So I was like, well, I could actually, we could actually do it together. I think it's really important um, to get both like stretching in, also movement of the body. So like if you have a job that's pretty physical, then really all you would need to make sure that you're doing is stretching. Like if you feel like you're working so much, like you're having to lift a lot of stuff, move a lot of stuff, having to like really focus on your body mechanics, then in that instance I would really recommend doing, I would say, stretching of those body parts that you're frequently having to use, because a lot of the injuries that, I don't want to say a lot of them, I would say about 50% of the injuries that I help to treat are from repetitive motions. Then I would say maybe like 25% are from some type of surgery or something, and then others are just, you know, living life and an injury happened, or even like on the job. So that's another thing, your actual mechanics of how you do your job. So if you are noticing that you're having to compensate, then that's really good awareness to start to try and correct that behavior before it gets worse, before it turns into something that's chronic. Right now, I don't know if I mentioned this in the other video, but so I actually am partnering and working at a chiropractor in the neighborhood. He's pretty well known. The business is starting to grow, like he's expanding, and so I'm one of the therapists that he brought on, to help utilize like my specialty of rehab and also chronic pain, because a lot of times, like when you think about massage or body work, the image that's mainly been like put out there is really only like the relaxation part of massage, but not really the therapeutic or the medical sports side of it. And me being like trained in different modalities, I'm able to put together, a strategy of first helping to get movement and get motion like in the body part. Then we start to re-educate the body by showing it that it can either stretch further, or it can either stretch further, or it can contract further. And I especially, those of you that are starting working out, or you've been working out for a minute, but like you're starting to kind of have a little bit of pain, even though you're seeing results, like you're having a little bit of pain because you did kind of go hard, to accomplish your goal. And you always kind of want to have a strategy of having body work. It doesn't have to be once a week. It doesn't have, a good time frame, I would say, is like 1 month to maybe 6 weeks. Like between there, that's a good like maintenance type of a schedule. But I don't really like to say but, I would say and if you're having something that you've been dealing with like for over a year, I would say even for more than 6 months, like, but generally over a year is when things kind of cross over into chronic. And helping a person out of chronic pain, it takes a few different steps, because by the time the person is in chronic pain or discomfort, like, they've already altered a lot of things on how they live, how they move. Like, they begin either using certain things, which then become crutches later on, because it becomes kind of this psychosomatic that they have to have this thing to feel better. And in reality, they don't. But a lot of things that are out there are kind of that placebo pill. But like I was saying, you want to start to do preventative things. Along with stretching, another preventative thing is going to be nutrition. And I don't mean like go vegan or do keto or do paleo. Like, they give these ways of eating different names, but really, one thing that I know for sure that would help is to get a consultation with an Ayurvedic specialist. I'm still in school, so I'm not necessarily fully doing those. I do also do those. Getting a consultation with an Ayurvedic specialist, it helps you to know the type of body you have, because certain bodies utilize the fuel differently that we put in. So what may be good for me to eat may not necessarily be helpful for you to eat. Although you could eat it, but you would need to know, like, okay, I can have this. Like, we can have anything we want, really. Like, there really isn't any limit. But what needs to happen is the portions of it, like, not going overboard with it. So getting, an Ayurvedic consultation will help you to know what foods to start to, like, incorporate into your eating. Because if you're just kind of following these fad diets, that's all they are. They've been, happening since the 80s. I remember the commercials. I'm sure most of you guys remember those commercials, and like how they really promote like all these crazy ideas and quote unquote solutions. And anyhow, so gonna be doing a I want to say nightly, because honestly, like, the stretching really has been helping. So for those of you that don't know, since 2013 I've been that's when I first had the slip and fall, and it affected my left side. So for the longest time, it seemed like no one could really, I guess, help or really figure it out. So I went through all these different therapies, and it was helping some of the stuff was helping, but it wasn't fully getting rid of it. And that's one thing with chronic pain, like, things are never going to go back to absolute, like, the way they were before. You can get close, and with time, I don't know, I kind of feel with time, with patience, with actually like conditioning yourself, and as far as like exercising, like doing doing exercises that are actually like helping and enhancing your efforts versus like super just going too hard where you end up injuring yourself again, or causing an injury. Because sometimes, a lot of people don't really get injured until they get older. And if you think about it, lots of things have replaced what we did in school, because they literally have like time for exercise. So it's kind of like that thing like, well, if you did it then, why do you stop when you get older? And we all know stress, responsibilities, all that jazz. But anyway, I want to start doing stretching after work, and like having this class be, even if you don't work, I mean, if you're like super fortunate and don't have to work every day, stretching is still good for you, because there's still movement that needs to happen in the body. And but I would say I want this really to be geared towards people who do work, because your health is your wealth. We keep hearing that over and over. Health is wealth. Health is wealth. And if our health is poor and we're like we are not fueling ourselves with stuff that actually will help, then it's like you're kind of defeating the purpose. But yeah, so I usually, and that's the other thing, like stretching doesn't have to be this like 1 hour thing. Like it could literally just be 10 minutes, but that 10 minutes are quality stretches where you're breathing into it. You're getting into the position and you're stretching, but you're like breathing into it and essentially creating a conversation between the muscles and your brain. Your brain essentially getting the message from the muscles that it's okay to lengthen, because there is actually like a chemical reaction that happens. I'm not going to get into the science of it, but basically over tightened muscles is basically an energy crisis. It's actually a crisis that's happening in the body. And people just are like, oh my, they're just tight, but it's like, well, are you giving it the time to relax? A lot of us stand all day, a lot of us sit at computers. Oh man, the chairs, our hamstrings do not like chairs. But sitting in the chair and stuff like that. But anyhow, or standing, like I said, walking, a lot of people are either doing, I would say, excuse me, it's been a long day, but I would say a lot of people, I don't know, I would say a lot of people that I work with either sit a lot for like doing work from home. They also work in warehouses and have to deal with like heavier items. And then one of the other things that I find very helpful is finding a place where you can utilize a sauna, but you want to kind of monitor that too, because you don't want to, essentially you don't want to do it too much, but you want to do it enough to help balance the muscles, but you don't want to freak the joints out, the joints and ligaments out by doing too much of it. Because too much of it can actually encourage inflammation and stuff like that. But anyway, let's see. The stretching that I like doing is typically just I don't even know if you would call all of them yoga stretches. And sometimes even when I do stretching, I call it yoga because I'm like, well, I am like going, into a certain position and holding that position, right? But so let's see. Let me move. Okay, we're gonna be adjusting the camera so you guys can get ready as well. Okay. So I like to start with this one. So just tucking the foot in and having the other foot out. And then just really start leaning into it. Now, depending on how tight this is right here, is going to depend on how far down you're going to be able to go. Also, how tight your side is as well, and also the other side, because all of this has to relax in order to go forward. So I do like to just here, I usually try and touch my toes at least, if I can at least touch my toes. Then I just rest in there. Actually, let me take these off. And I just like to relax into it. Just let my body, because I know what trigger points are and what they feel like, I can usually feel my back kind of trying to do the little flutters, and I just let it relax. And when I'm ready to come out of a stretch, I don't just like jump out of the stretch. Like, let your muscles fire. You want to start communicating with your muscles to start to fire in a certain order, especially in the back. So first I kind of let go of my foot, and that releases kind of the pressure. And I'm like rolling my back and letting it come up into a relaxed position. Taking deep breaths in and kind of twist a little bit. And you might feel it in that low back as you're twisting. And if it's sore, then that means you more than likely have trigger points. So we're gonna switch. Ooh, now this side, because this is the side that has the injury, well, I would say it still has a little bit of guarding left from the injury, but because this is the leg that, it's my poor leg that has the issues. No. But I have to give it a little bit of time to warm into it. It won't let me go immediately, and mainly because I have tight adductors. I seriously need adductor work, but that's okay. I just have to kind of warm into it. And I'm just kind of like moving my spine, guys, like letting my lower back warm up. And then I do go for the toes again. Whew. Stretching it down. Yeah, see, this one I have to work into it. And see, that's what I'm kind of talking about. Like when you start giving time to stretching and communicating with your body. Letting the muscles communicate with the brain. That it's okay to let go. Oh yeah, guys, I was gonna tell you, so I've been doing a lot of juicing. I bought an Angel premium cold press juicer, and like, it's interesting. My feet have been shedding. And because at first I was like, what is going on? I was like, I know I need a pedicure. Haven't had a chance to go. I haven't found a lady that can do them since the place I used to go to closed. But I noticed that there's like new skin. I was like, and it's been interesting, like juicing. No one really talks about that. Like when you start juicing, like it's like your liver, because your liver is the biggest filter, and running a lot of fresh juice through the liver and helping it to cleanse itself out, it started to help cleanse and let go of like old skin. And it's nice, and I like to like move around too with my stretches because I know my adductors are tight. So even just doing this, I feel it in my adductors. So coming, kind of onto this leg here a little bit. But I do need some body work on this left leg. So I let go of my toes. I'm gonna work my way up because this one can get angry at me if I move too fast. I'm just kind of gently shake it out. Saying hello to the mid back, upper back. And seeing this is the left shoulder that was bothering me quite a bit, guys. Like that left shoulder. And we'll come to the front. And try and tuck my chin. Try and create a stretch all the way from my head, because all of this is connected. So if I create, tucking my head, I'm creating a nice stretch down the back. And just breathing into it. Letting go of the feet. Working my way out of it. Saying hello to my vertebrae. The other stretch I like to do, especially for those of us that sit a lot, So you're gonna make like an L with your front leg and work on trying to get the back leg straight. And then trying to sit up straight. This really helps to stretch the glutes. So if you're having like sciatic symptoms, depending on where your sciatic nerve enters into the hip. So if it goes under the muscle, it could be clamped. Well, in each one of the phases, it could be clamped. So if it goes under the muscle, if it goes through the muscle, or if it goes on top of the muscle, I think I can't even say I would need to look at some statistics, because it's very possible that most people that are having that problem, no, when I think about it, it could be all three, really, like depending, it really could be all three. And then I like to kind of lay into it. If you're not able to lay into it, that's fine. Just stay erect, sitting up. And just taking nice big breaths. And again, creating that long line from the front of the forehead to the low back. You can come out of it. Sitting up tall as you can. Coming out of it. Oh. Same thing on the other side. Adjusting. Nice big deep breaths. I am actually, as I said, that a thought came to do a class on breathing. I'm starting to realize that I need to kind of start coaching my patients on breathing as well, because I'll be working on certain areas, and if it's I tell them, I don't want you to have to feel like you're not breathing or you can't breathe. Like, you should, I want you to always feel like you can breathe. And don't hold your breath, basically. And a few of them, I asked for a big breath and they're just like, and I'm like, actually, you need to breathe with all of your lung and your diaphragm, please. But yeah, no, I'm definitely going to be working on that. And yeah, I may actually do a class on breathing. Okay, we're gonna lean into it. Whew. A good stretch down the side of the leg and into the hip. This stretch feels so good. It's funny because I do also stretch people, and it's funny. I don't know, it's funny the looks on people's faces as they're like, it's like they're so focused. It's like you can relax, but I don't know, it's fun times. This is a good stretch though. Okay, then we can come out of it. Then I do like to do downward dog or downward V. I actually like downward V. I kind of feel like I'm not a dog, so I'm like, why would that's just me though. But we're gonna do a downward V. And the goal with the downward V is you want to be able to touch your heels to the floor. You bring your knees down, and then we're gonna curve our back. Oh, that's a good one. And with this one, pay attention to your glutes and relax them. And down. I like to put my hand one on top of the other and then stretch down. You can go to each side as well and do a stretch. You'd actually be stretching the side. That's a really good one, especially if you have pain in the middle of your back, kind of at the top. This is a really good one, even if you have pain anywhere in your back. To the other side. So if you've ever had a chiropractic adjustment, doing a lot of these stretches, you will probably feel the cracks and that's just showing the loose ones that you have. And let me see here. Yeah, that's just showing the loose ones that you have. But thanks for stretching with me after work. I think it's gonna be a good idea to record these. So hey, if this benefited you, let me know, and I will definitely start doing it regularly. As far as recording, like, I'm already stretching on my own, but I thought it would be good, kind of community building. I am in the next couple of weeks, about to open my studio. And hopefully you're able to stop by. I am in California though, so I don't know how many of you are in California, close to Sacramento, but yeah, that's where I'm at. And if you are if you are an athlete, or an athlete, even if you're not a quote unquote athlete, but if you're like, you work in an office, or you work at home, or you're a mom, anything really. I help all ages. I even help youth athletes. I had one patient. He was a pitcher, a baseball pitcher, and yeah, it's fun. It's fun working with the kids. So if you do, if your kids are in sports or anything like that, that is something that I help with, especially if because certain kids kind of know they want to play more long term, and like the parents will invest into that. And so like, if you're one of those parents where you're like, yeah, my son or daughter is going to go farther than it just being a hobby, then definitely. And I'm so excited because my classes, so the end of this year is really going to be amazing, because I'm gonna be taking a class on Graston. So I'm gonna be a Graston specialist, and then I'm also going to be in art. So it's active release therapy. That's another modality that really, man, I had a session, and literally like the chronic pain, it was gone in my neck. It was the left side of my neck. And I mean, like I was saying, like things were getting good, but there was still always like this underlining situation in my neck, and then it was like it was going to the right. So naturally, that's basically because my brain had gotten rid of a lot of the other pain signals. It started to pay attention to new things. And so I had the session with the guy, and it was amazing, to say the least. Like, and so I'm gonna get trained in that, and then I have my curandera training in New Mexico. Really excited for that. It's really interesting because like we had homework, so we were supposed to do certain ceremonies and things like that. And so I have been doing them, but I know I need to like be a lot better about doing them. So it's nice because I have a space now, so I can do new moon ceremonies and full moon ceremonies, and invite you guys to them. They'll probably be live stream, is what I'm thinking to do them. So yeah, well, I'm gonna head out. It's starting to, even though it doesn't look like it, but the sun's starting to go down. And yeah, I will catch you guys on the next one. This has been Alisia's Place. Peace.